Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Federica and I'm here to tell you a bit about my story. So I lived in London for about 8 years, I want to say, before my marriage ended. My story will have similarities to other stories of people who went through breakups. And I think the breakup didn't hit me instantly. In fact, to begin with, I was taken by this wave of novelty, I guess, this newfound freedom, as if a weight was lifted off my shoulders. I started taking care of myself a little bit more. I felt like I had more time to go to the gym. Well, not really the gym. I would go to my Reformer Pilates classes. I felt like walking felt differently. I felt like I was floating in clouds rather than walking. My mood was completely improved. Well, while I was before breaking up, I was in a particular low. So feeling very anxious and, had quite depressive mood. So yeah, once I broke up, I found this newfound freedom and lightness and all of that. I asked a friend to move in with me and my daughter. My daughter would live half of the time with myself, half of the time with her father, as she's doing at the moment. But I didn't want to be living alone. I was really scared of that emptiness, of that silence once she would be at her father's. So I asked an acquaintance rather than a friend, someone who I knew through other friends, to come move in with me. And that was a super smart move on my behalf, I want to say, because it did exactly that. I didn't feel like I was alone. I bonded with this girl. We're no longer living together, but we're still in touch. It was just nice to have someone there with me. That worked out really well. In the beginning, it was just about refinding myself and a little bit what it meant to me to be me by myself and not me married to someone. But overall, the feeling was particularly positive. I was just kind of ashamed and afraid of confessing this to the family. We never had a real wedding where we got married in front of everyone. I want to say thank God now. We got married civilly just between the two of us. We were abroad in Canada. So family didn't attend. I was really ashamed to be telling family. I only just told my grandparents after 2 years from breaking up. I pretended we were still together. It helps that we don't live in the same countries. And it would be just the occasional call where my grandparents would ask me how my ex-husband was doing, and I would just like brush it off quickly and say, yes, all good. Actually, once when I traveled back home to visit family, he actually came with us because it was my daughter's christening. So no questions were asked then. Everyone knew except my grandparents. So sorry grandma, sorry granddad, but now you know. Yeah, I guess I did start dating after a few weeks, just because I really needed to feel alive again. I just needed to be seen, felt seen. When you end up a marriage, it means things haven't been working out for a very long time within the marriage, so you don't exactly feel seen or understood or anything like that. So there was an urge for me to have a little bit of that. I guess it hasn't really hit me that I was alone with no like real support or someone to go to when shit would hit the fan, for example, until shit did hit the fan. So it was roughly about over a year after, from the family home, I decided to move by myself without my housemate. that move was horrific. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, because all the things that could have gone wrong went wrong. I was completely by myself dealing with this move. Obviously, I hired a moving company, but obviously my ex-husband wasn't there to help. He didn't really even help me with having my daughter while I was actually in the process of moving. So my daughter was also there while I was between boxes, people, and moving things around. She was just over 3 years old, so not exactly independent. Yeah, I didn't really have any family to help or any friends. Basically, I was just moving a 4-story home into a small 1-floor apartment. I had to get rid of things. I had to just manage the whole thing. I remember hiring this van. I'm quite short and little, driving this zip car van around London, collecting a huge couch for the place. And yeah, everything was super tight between work, between childcare, between having to do these things, and yet again not really having anyone to help. I did hire a handyman who helped me with the couch situation, just because it was extremely hard. And actually a colleague and her boyfriend did help at some point, but I just remember it being an extremely overwhelming time. Anyways, I'll go more in detail another time regarding the move. But yeah, suddenly I had to deal with bills and everything that all of you have done, I'm sure. But something that I haven't really had to take care before, because well, my husband at the time used to do that. I always flat shed before, so there was always someone, fortunately or not, who has taken on that role of sorting out, connecting the electricity and all that jazz. I'm super grateful that I've done it. Now I feel more independent. Now I know what people do when you get a house. Definitely a massive learning curve, but super extremely stressful at the time. I remember feeling like I went from one day to the other, having become an adult and having all this responsibilities as well as a child. Yeah, it wasn't easy, and suddenly realizing, after more than a year after the breakup, there's no longer that feeling of novelty, like of freedom, of feeling light. You have been now single for over a year, and okay, now it's no longer that fun. Now you are faced with reality. Okay, you don't have someone there for you when things get hard, or when things are, when no one to be joyful with when something nice happens. So yeah, sharing all of this just because I know there are several other single moms out there who are foreigners. They're not from here, not from the UK, not from London. And I can totally relate to how hard it can be to not have that family around, that support, whilst going through some real big ass life-changing scenarios, such as breaking up from marriage. If you are going through that, I just want to reassure you again, you're not alone. It might feel catastrophic, but you can get through that. This is the main topic I'll be talking about in my channel. Ended marriage, child, work, how to navigate London in these circumstances. So if you'd like to hear more from me and from my story, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below. I like to, interact, get to know all of you, and perhaps the beginning of a new journey. So thank you everyone for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.